What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video on my channel, Early Plays, and in today's video I'm going to be going over with you guys the 5 best characters that you can bring to Red Demon and Grey Demon Deathmatches right now, in my opinion. And again, this video has been delayed by a few days because due to the release of characters, every week that's been coming out, this would have been outdated instantly within like a week. So I wanted to make it now because I feel like it won't update for it won't be updated for a while, but maybe for a few weeks or so, depending on how they release characters. Maybe, I don't know, but yeah, that's why this has been delayed. Yeah, which is why I explained it in the last video, or whatever. It's mainly due to the release of Gopher and Galland and the coin drop units, basically. So yeah, anyway, without further ado, so there's 2 demons that you can take on right now. Well, yeah, as of right now in Deathmatch, the Red Demon and the Grey Demon. The Red Demon was actually really hard to make a list for because there's a lot of options at the start of the game for Red Demon that you can pick. So yeah, however, the Grey Demon was actually pretty difficult to choose because there wasn't really many characters that you could bring. So yeah, anyway, yeah. Also, when doing this, I'm including only the units that you bring in your main team, not your 4th slot character, because obviously it's pretty obvious. What characters you use? You bring characters like, you could bring Red Gila if you wanted. She's pretty good for that. You could bring Kane. You can bring Red Elizabeth as your 4th slot unit. You can bring Golgius, the R unit. I think he boosts damage out by 15% in death matches. And there's other characters, other sub characters like the Jerichos, which gives extra damage for whichever element they are. So there's a lot of good characters that you can use in the 4th slot. Maybe that could be another video, I don't know. But anyway, yeah, so to start with Red Demon, in the 5th slot, we have Galland, Blue Galland, the brand new Galland. I've had a lot of fun using this Galland. I think he's actually really good for Red Demon. Could be placed higher, but I don't really know too much yet where I want to place him. I definitely think he's in the top 5. But I don't think he's the best damage dealer for Red Demon. That's why I think he's at number 5. Now, the reason why Galland is good is his passive commandment aren't really that useful, so it kind of doesn't really help him too much. However, the good thing about him is because his ultimate gives him increases basic stats by 50%. That acts as 3 buffs, and because of his attack card, which has Amplify, which adds an extra 30% damage onto his multiplier for each buff that he has. So what you can do is you can run Galland with Arthur and Halgrim, or like Halgrim, Gilthunder, one of those two, whatever, doesn't really matter, and then boom, you can literally nuke so much and literally like one-shot the Red Demon. It's kind of crazy. Those units aren't on this list because you don't really need boosters for Red Demon, so it's, yeah, but they still can be very helpful. See, that's why Galland's on this list, because he has a hard-hitting ultimate and has a very hard-hitting attack card. This can hit for over 200k damage, probably, most likely. I haven't tried it out yet. You've been using Galland just a lot by himself, but without boosters like Halgrim or Gilthunder, or somebody like Arthur or something like that. Because my Arthur isn't level 60 yet, or you are, in fact. So yeah, that's why Galland's on this list. And the number 4 slot is Ellie Hawk. Again, she could possibly be a bit higher. I don't know. But yeah, I put Ellie Hawk in on this spot just simply because of her passive and her main attack card, and her ultimate doing a lot of damage as well. Now this is because with her passive, her basic stats increase by 10% at the start of next turn, every turn. However, it gets reset upon taking damage. However, there's a strategy that you use for Red Demon, which I'm pretty sure everybody knows why, which makes basically Ellie Hawk just incredible. So that's why she's really good. This can stack infinite amounts of times, so she could technically be the strongest character ever. So yeah, and that's why makes her a lot more stronger, a lot more tankier as well. And then the reason why she does so much damage is because of this card, because it inflicts charge damage, which makes it so she ignores defense. And the reason why you can't do as much damage to the Red Demon is because the Red Demon has such a high defense stat, and so getting rid of that is really helpful and can be really good. Which is why Ellie Hawk is at the number 4 spot. And her ultimate, seeing as she's an SR, she's really easy to 6-6, and she has over 1000% multiplier, so she can do a lot of damage on her ultimate as well with this boost, so that's why she's at the number 4 spot. So at the number 3 spot, I've gone with Gopher. Now Gopher is the best character in the game. Literally, he's useful. He's good for literally everything. So you can literally use him on literally anything. He's crazy how good he is, and he's especially good for Red Demon, in my opinion. Well, yeah, well at the moment, obviously because Crimson Demon isn't out, so he's not going to be trying to use him for that. But yeah, the reason why he's so good is because you can actually get a really good use out of his passive, because he increases all allies attack by 10% at the start of the next turn, but it resets upon taking damage. It can limit to 5 times. And again, the same whole thing with Ellie Hawk. You'll see later on why this passive can be so good. Also, the disabling attack skill isn't really that helpful. The ultimate, it will do an okay amount of damage. Gotha's ult hits decently hard. And also has a really easy fate partner that is King, which is nice. But the main reason why he's so helpful is just because of the invasion of him being able to rank up skills from 1 to 2 or 3 stars cards, which is very good. And also he also applies the basic stats boost as well to to allies as well, which is very, very good. Because there's a massive difference between level 1 and level 3 cards, so you do a lot more damage, which is really good, which basically makes him so good for Red Demon and Grey Demon as well. So yeah, moving on to the number 2 slot, we have Slater, Hunter Slater. Now the reason why he's so good is because he's constantly crits, and again, just like Gotha and Elizabeth and how their passives work. Well, actually, no, they're kind of different actually, sorry. Because his crit chance increases to 300% of its value when the hero attacks an enemy with an empty ultimate move gauge. And again, which you'll see in the number 1 spot, you'll see why this is going to be incredible. So having a very high crit chance is really good because his base crit damage is 160%, which is so much. It's an incredible amount. And if you run full crit damage gears, so you run 6 crit damage gears on Slater, or attacking crit damage gears, whatever you want to run, he's going to hit extremely hard, and which is going to be so good because he's literally always going to be critting non-stop. Because he has a base, where is it? What's his base crit chance? Yeah, 30%, so he's going to increase it by a lot, and he also has a very high pierce rate of 50%, so he's just going to be hitting an incredible amount of damage. And it's good because he has 2 attack cards and has a very high damaging ultimate. Easy character to get 6/6 because he is in the SR coin shop, so it's very easy character to get ult gauges on, or to get ultimate levels on. So yeah, that's why Slater is at the number 2 spot. And finally, at the number 1 spot, there is also another character you could include in this, but it's Gustav and Red Merlin. I'm just including Gustav there because I think Gustav is a little bit better than Merlin, simply because of his passive. And now, the reason why Gustav is so good is because of his passive and his second card here, Freezing Field. But first we'll get into his passive. So when Gustav enters the battle, he decreases all enemies' resistance by the value of his pierce rate. So basically, if you run whatever gear you want, HP and defense gears, sure, and then you on the attack set of gears, the one that gives attack stats, you re-roll their substats to pierce rate. Then his pierce rate is going to increase. I think what's his pierce rate? Yeah, he's a base pierce rate of 30%, which is not bad. So if you can increase that by quite a lot. I think maximum of 60%. I think you can increase it by a maximum of 60%. So I think you can have up to 90% pierce rate. I'm pretty sure. So that's going to decrease the Red Demon's resistance by a lot, which basically means that your DPS like Slater, Elizabeth, and Galland are going to be able to do a lot more damage. So it's very, very helpful. This attack skill is pointless, but however, moving on to the thing that literally makes Red Demon the easiest thing I've ever done in my life. Freezing Field. Basically what he does on his level 1, he freezes one enemy for 1 turn, and then on his level 2, freezes enemy for 1 turn, but you get to inflict 80% additional damage on the frozen target for that 1 turn. And then for the level 3 is the multipliers increase 200%, and it's for 2 turns. And the reason why this is so good is because freezing is basically like a petrified bit. It petrifies on the level 1, and basically means that you can do an additional amount of damage. So basically, Gustav is an incredible utility unit for this raid, and in combination with Gotha, if you're able to get these level 3s, Gustav is going to be able to constantly freeze the Red Demon, and also make it so that your DPS characters can do a lot more damage. This 200% makes a massive difference, especially when you're critting with it. It makes a huge difference on the amount of damage you do. hundreds of thousands of damage being dealt if you get a level 3 off. Which is why he's so good, and also the ultimate's pretty useless. You don't really need it. It's pretty pointless. So which is why he's at the #1 spot, because literally it's what you need in order to do this. Which is why he's so good for Red Demon. Now I didn't put Blue King on this list because the freeze units are just so much better. Like, you don't need King, and especially because Gustav is easy free to play unit, so easy. It's very easy to obtain. So that's it for the Red Demon. The 5 best units in my opinion that you can bring. Now moving on to Grey Demon at the #5 spot. I realised that I kind of want to change this because I feel like I can make this a bit different. So you know what, I'm going to make a cut a second and I'm going to change it. So I'll be back in a second. Alright, so we are back. Now I changed a few things because I just realised when I was going through this list, I feel like, you know, there could be a bit of a there's a few better characters now that I completely forgot about that you could use for the Grey Demon. So at the #5 spot for Grey Demon, I've actually gone with the Green Lizbeth. Now I still use Green Lizbeth in my team right now. Especially for extreme Grey Demon, she's really good because of the fact that she cleanses debuffs on her level 2 and level 3, and which is very handy because the Grey Demon applies Infect, which basically means, well, he just seals healing. So he basically makes it so you can't be healed, and oh my god, voice crack hell. And so by removing that debuff, you're able to heal, which is very handy. And the reason why I like her so much is because her ultimate increases all allies' ult gauge orbs, whatever you want to call it, by 2, which is really handy and really goes well with other characters as well. That's in this list, so which is why she's so good. And also, it's a really easy ultimate to get at the start. And if you can the bonus card you get, if it's an Lizbeth card, you can get her ultimate turn 1, which is very handy. I mean, you can still get her ultimate turn 1 if you run it in combination with another character, but still. And then because her passive is really handy because at the start of the battle it increases her ultimate move gauge by 2 orbs, which is why she can get her ultimate turn 1, which is very handy. She has a high good stats, a high CC, combat mask, CP, whatever you want to call it. So she's a very good character to allow you to out CC the Grey Demon as well. Moving on to the 4th slot, we have Gopher again. Now originally I did have counter melee, and then I realised I forgot Gopher was in the game, so counter melee is off the list, and I'm going to put Gopher at the #4 slot. Simply because literally forget everything here and all this stuff. It's literally simply for his rank up skills, because just ranking up attack cards is just going to allow your DPS to do a lot of damage. That's pretty much it for him. Literally I've already explained, you know, why he's so good. So yeah, moving on to the #3 character, I put Green Merlin. Simply because for Green Merlin is good because of a passive, because it increases everybody's ultimate move gauge by 1 orb, which is very handy, which guarantees you the Lizbeth ultimate turn 1, which is very good, and it's also a really good combo with another character. Also, she has a high damaging attack card, Straight Explosion, which is a ranged attack card, so she can do a lot of damage. Which is also why Lizbeth is good, because she has a ranged attack card as well as Gopher, so you can still do some damage. So, and this is a lot of damage as well, gets rid of ult gauge, and her ultimate is very strong as well, can hit really hard, easy 6/6 unit, once she is available in the coin shop. And then the main thing that she's here for is the perfect cube, because she basically just adds some sustainability to her team, so you can tank a lot more, just simply because of her perfect cube, because it creates a barrier equal to 150 to 375% of her attack. So you want to make sure you run attack and defense and try and make her attacks as high as possible, which is why she's so good. Just because it allows you to tank so much more, allowing you to do a lot more damage as well. Now moving on to the second unit, we have Holy Knight Gilthunder and Halgrim, or like those two together. It's kind of the same thing with Gustav and Merlin. So the boosters that you normally use in Grey Demon being Gilthunder and Halgrim. Simply just because of the fact that they boost, and that's literally it. I prefer Gilthunder because Gilthunder has a high damaging ultimate, which has a high multiplier of 840% up to that. So you can hit the Grey Demon very hard if you get his ultimate. So which is why I prefer him to Halgrim, because Halgrim's ultimate doesn't really hit that hard, to be honest, because it's an AoE ultimate, so it doesn't really hit that hard. And yeah, so the reason why they're any good is because they boost. Halgrim boosts attack related stats, and Gilthunder boosts just attack all allies. I actually couldn't get If I get Halgrim real quick, I'm going to show you what Halgrim does, but just because they're a little bit different to each other, whereas Gustav and Merlin are literally the same. So yeah, so he boosts attack related stats by, from 15 to 30%, so which increases attack, pierce rate, crit chance, and crit damage by 30%. So really, in fact, Halgrim is the better option for boosting, but I just like Gilthunder because he's a free-to-play option, easy 6/6 character, has pretty high CC to be honest, just because you can get him to 6/6 pretty easily. And yeah, that's why these two are at the number 2 spot. And now finally at the number 1 spot we have Green King. If you play this game, if you play Grand Cross Royale, you know that this character is the best character for Grey Demon, simply because he's a crit damaging machine. He's incredible for Grey Demon because his passive his passive makes it so his crit chance increases by 10% for every ultimate move gauge orb that he has, and when it's full, it increases by an extra 50%. So he gains a 100% chance to crit, seeing he has a base chance to crit of 130%, and with a high multiplier of 150% crit damage, he's going to be hitting very, very hard. And his attack card here inflicts spike damage, which doubles the crit damage that he does. So he's just going to be hitting extremely hard on the Grey Demon. He can literally one-shot the Grey Demon as well. This card's alright, it does good damage, so it's very helpful. And his ultimate ignores resistance, so and when you crit with this, it does a lot of damage as well. So that's why King is extremely good for the Grey Demon. That's the best character for Grey Demon in my opinion. So just to sum over things, for the Red Demon, number 5 Gallant, number 4 Allihawk, number 3 Gopher, number 2 Slater, number 1 Gustav and Merlin. For the Grey Demon, number 5 is Green Elizabeth, number 4 is Gotha, number 3 is Merlin, number 2 is Gilthunder and Halgrim, and then number 1 is Green King. So yeah, that's been it for the video. I hope this helps you in some sort of way, to give you an idea of what teams you can build for the Grey Demon, and the Red Demon of course, and maybe some strategies you might want to develop when doing this if you are struggling with them. So yeah, that's been it for the video. Thank you so much for watching. I've been Eric Plays, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.